paradise. If you're not mine, right here, right now. And even if the world ends, then I'll be fine. No fear, no doubt. I know a place that sneak away. Leave the pain, I'll stay with you. Let me hold you, close your eyes. We'll be reaching paradise. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't even really know your name, but I'm still high on all love that making me feel alright. I don't even really know your another round, girl, you know. So take a breath, gonna be a night you will never forget on the show. Some more of that, once we start, there's no stopping us. 'Cause right here, and right now, we can make love be the talk of the town. Right here, and right now, you and me together, the talk of the town. Right here, right here. Let's have some fun, don't be a bore. So come on over, just knock on my door. I'll be your king, I'll be my queen. We'll be the A couple they never seen. Girl, you know. So take a breath, gonna be a night you will never forget on the show. Some more of that, once we start, there's no stopping us. 'Cause right here, and right now, we can mix with love, be the talk of the town. Right here, and right now, you and me together, the talk of the town. Right here, right here, right here. Oh, oh, oh. Right here, right here. Girl, you feel so hot. Show me what you got. Tell me if you are ready or if you're not. Girl, you need a bit magic in your life. In your life. In your life. Right here, and right now, we can mix with love, be the talk of the town. Right here, and right now, you and me together, the talk of the town. Come on, right here, and right now.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for watching and sticking around toward the end of the video. I'm just gonna talk about some of my thoughts, and these are a couple points I'm talking about. And first of all, this should last about 55 minutes. It's a pretty quick 1 hour shoot, and I'm just gonna give you some context of how many photos. It had 357 photos. The JPEG size is 8.1 GB, and then the compressed raw file is 17.72 GB. So you can get some context of if you are buying this camera, how much space you need. Definitely is bigger than the X-T4 or X-T3 size because of the higher megapixel. And another thing, so the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the setting. So the setting of this one, I just want to explain a little bit. This is the image quality. I think it's called super fine, so it's a pretty big JPEG, and then the compressed raw. So these are the two options. Standard, I choose standard so that it has more neutral tone in it. And I didn't change the color chrome effect. Next time I will change to weak to see what's happening, what's the difference. Smooth skin effect, I turn it off. I don't have that one. I think this option only in the GFX 50R. I haven't seen this option in the X-T4. So dynamic range, I leave it at the 100. Okay, for this one, white balance, I didn't do a shift. So you can see that in the beginning of the video is 0, 0. And I just want to see what's because different sensor, the neutral has a different. The X-T3, if you leave it at neutral, is more colder. But this one, I think is right about the amount of cold and warm to me. So I didn't want to change to this quadrant right here. So that's the reason. And let me go back here. Highlight tone +1, shadow tone +1. So these are the tone curve. I am adding a little bit of the contrast. So color +2, sharpness +1, noise reduction -4. These are the usual changing. If you have seen my previous video, I didn't change these two last two options. And then the same thing happening to the ISO max, sending to the 12800, and then the minimum shutter speed is 1/125 per second. So yep, these are the 4 main things I want to show and explain. And then the GFX 50 F3.5, I'm gonna just show some pictures. And these are the pictures, so let me open one by one right here. So let me use the other screen to open it, and then just to see what's the zoom in difference. So because it's high megapixel and it is super clear and like sharp on the eyes. So the other thing, if you notice, if you can see that the edges and then the sharpness of the eyebrows. So the other thing you notice is the AFS. I was talking about here, AFS single shooting. So you can see this box right here. I'm using a single point focus for this sensor because this sensor is not optimized to use IAF. I tried a couple shots using the IAF, but it is not like optimized, like it's not ideal for me. So that's why I use back the method that I shot in my XT2 before the XT3 method is single shots. Single 1x1, and then it's pretty reliable. Like I'm just using single and then pointing on the face, then it's pretty focused on the eyes already. I will test out later if I have chance to get another long for the 110mm. That's the portrait lens, and then I try the single to see how it goes. Previously, I shot the 63 f2.8. It's pretty good already. So this one, you can see that I'm pointing manually on the face area. It's pretty sharp already. So you can see that I have this sample image. So just I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that you can see the sharpness and then the pixel in it, so you can see that it is very sharp. So even though just because the traditional method, I have been shooting the other before the IAF, I've been using this traditional method for 5 years. So before IAF it was working, and then now it should be still working. So these are the way that worked before the IAF. It should work nowadays as well. It just because we have been used to the IAF, and then we sometimes forgot that we can use single point just in case any like alternative that you want to use some other camera. So this is pretty sharp. And then I'm gonna show a couple more photos. So this one is very sharp. You can see the detail, and then the detail on the clothing, and then the detail on the eyes is very sharp. So let me go another one. So this one is outside the traditional retro theater. You can see that it is very sharp on the eyelashes. So it is very nice, the detail. Even I zoom in from that. So the GF 30 f3.5, the out of focus area when you do half body, this is almost half body, this is photo, it's slightly blurred out. It feels like a 35 f2 or 23 f2. I think this is 40 f2.8, but it feels like the X-T4, the f2 lenses, like when you zoom in. I might do a comparison with a 23 f1.4 later, so just to see side by side with the X-T4, but the sharpness is the sharpest I can see in Fujifilm lineup. It's very clear, and because of the sensor size and then the megapixel, it's really good. And the out of focus area is smooth also. You can see that the bokeh in here is like rounded, and then it's nice and smooth out of focus area. Like it's a very comfortable transition to the out of focus area as many of other Fujifilm lenses. And then let me do another one. So basically I'm just gonna go through a couple pictures side by side, and then you can see that it's consistently very sharp. The only thing to be aware is the hand shaking hand, because there's no IBIS, and then the shutter is wider, like it's bigger, so the shutter takes more time to close for the lights. So just make sure that your hands are steady, make sure no shaking. Just use some traditional method, just make sure before you hit the shutter there's no shaking. So you can see that it is very sharp on the eyes, even there's no IAF. And this photo, when I was shooting, let me go back to the example. Yep, you can see that the face, the box is on the face, but the whole eyes are in focus. So let me grab back this one. Yep, so you can see the sharpness here. So as long as your the box is around this area, it's fine. So the photo half body is pretty good as using this, and then these are the bokeh, smooth bokeh in here. So it's feels comfortable, and these are environment context, so it won't blur out completely, so you can still see the world and the palm tree stuff. So it depends on what kind of style you want to use in your feed, and this is more contextual portraits, so that it gives a sense of where you are at. And if you want to tell a story and you want to have some background next to it, this lens is good for that, like the journalist contextual portraits. So, and this is the full body, and because it's a higher megapixel, if you zoom in, it's still, you can see the sharpness on the face already. So, and overall you can see the sharpness in the back as well, because it's the on this same plane, so it's good. And then when it's doing the full body, the trees and then these are not blown out as much. You can see the difference from this area and this area, just slightly, maybe 20% light blur out, not too much, so you can still see the whole thing. And the traffic lights, only a small amount of bokeh, and you can see that these are the bokeh area here. So those are the out of focus area, and the sharpness on the face, so it's pretty good. And then let me do another one. So I have couple ones just to go through them quickly. So this one I'm using leading lines and then to the portraits, because the user usually, the viewer of a picture usually starts from the left side to the right hand side. So it's good to have leading lines on the left side of the frame and then lead the user to the portrait. So that's the leading line style. So you can see that it is very sharp also. So the overall is similar to that 2/3 area. So let me get another one even closer up, this one. So here, before I zoom in, so this is, yep, so you can see that the eyelashes are very sharp right here. So let me do another one. This is backlight. So the next two, I'm gonna do a backlight shots. The sun is around this area. We were about 11:30 a.m. Noon time, so near the noon time, but the sunlight is around here, so hitting on the left side of the head. And then I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, so let it render a little bit, so you can see that the face was in focus. Yep, so the eyelashes and the eye are in focus. The eyes are in focus. So before another backlight, I'm gonna do one more half body, and then the last one is the backlight. So this one is the full body. You can see that the bokeh area is not too much blowout, just slightly, maybe about 10% blowout if you're doing full body. So just give some context of where you were. So let me zoom in a little bit more. You can see that it's very sharp. So yep, that's the benefit of the higher megapixel. You can zoom in a lot. Sometimes if you want to crop something, you can crop it. The last shots, the last two shots I have are all backlights. So the backlight, the lighting is in here, and then these are the let me show the focus area and then show the bokeh area. So you can see that these are the focus area, and then the next one, let me open right here. Yep, so it's very sharp. Just zoom in a little bit so you can see. And then I'm going to zoom in to the bokeh area so you can see the difference of the bokeh also. So it's nice and rounded and then smooth bokeh. So yeah, that's it. The last thing I want to talk about is just the shutter sound of the GFX is pretty good. Some of you have probably have used it. And the sound of the GFX sounds pretty good. Actually, I have the camera next to me. I'm just gonna press the shutter a little bit. So let me focus on here. Yep. So this is the sound. So I like the how the sound feels like. It feels like a retro film style. So yep, that's all my thoughts and on this lens. First impression is pretty good. So in summary, the first impression is pretty good, and the GFX, the lens is very sharp. Like almost all the pictures are the one of the sharpest I have seen in all other Fujifilm I shot. Even though these are the higher megapixel, it's hard to compare with a lower megapixel. But yep, that's my first impression. It's pretty good, and thanks so much for watching. I will do more shoots on this one, and thank you Fujifilm for loaning me for 3 weeks so I can test it out. Thanks so much. Stay tuned for more video coming up. Bye.